Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Center is not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. I'm Ebony SsALI. It's Friday.
Is it?
The gentlemen told me it's payday, so lunch on them. They didn't say that. They didn't say that. I just
You
came
told
in
us.
here.
You told us it was payday, and we were certainly elated to know that you had gotten paid on today.
No. What I'm saying is
And
that 4 for 4 is what we can all share.
Ebony, I called you the last time I talked to you. You were supposed to be on your way here, right?
Yeah.
And it took you 2 weeks to get here.
Hey. Oh, see, you gonna start hot. You came out the gate. Blah.
No.
What had happened was
it took you 2 weeks to get here.
What had happened was no. It's been a lot going on, y'all. Do y'all feel the same? It's just a lot. But this is my season. I told y'all in the winter.
Here we go.
I come
Jermaine.
alive.
Jermaine, you
I'm
ready for
coming
this?
out the cocoon.
She coming in hot. That's who coming in hot.
I came in this morning. I'm all chipper and cheered. They're like, bring it on down. You're at a 10. We
Yeah,
did
you're
it at
doing way
about
too much at 6:55 in the morning.
Because I'm hyped. Because it's
If this
May.
is your hype, I'd hate to see when you're excited.
I mean, it gets a little wild. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm hype about that because it has taken me 40 plus years to learn how to regulate Ebony, right? To get my mind right, to find out what gets me high, what gets me down.
I thought you were going to say something like what was really wrong.
I mean,
with
listen,
Uncle
we all
Johnny.
got a little something. We all got a little something. And that's
like Uncle Johnny. They always that boy crazy. Don't worry about it. Stay away, man. He crazy. But see, they didn't really understand mental health as we know it today.
This is true. Which is why I say everybody's got a little some depending on who you ask. But we'll get into some of these diagnoses. I know people talk about, oh, I got OCD. No, just because you like things neat does not make OCD. Because someone might be more challenged academically, that doesn't mean you can start to diagnose and do all these things. So we'll get into that when we get our guests in the studio. But May is the month I come alive. We usually have been done with all the rain. We get some flowers. Ebony come out the cocoon. That means it's time to get live. It's time to get lit.
I know
See, oh Lord,
I know you.
He about to ring me out, y'all. So if you watching on Facebook, watching on YouTube.
No. I wanted to do this the proper way because Angela brought this by here for you when I called you. Now take a look at the card. Take a look at the card.
Okay.
It's a very nice card. First of all, I will tell you.
Okay. Hey, Angela. Good morning. Oh, listen. You had me at confetti. The car has confetti. So if y'all don't know, my birthday was a few weeks back. Okay. Look. Y'all know how we do at birthdays. Mm-hmm. Angela, thank you. Let me see. Can I read it on air?
Please do. God
keep you and guide you always. Hope your birthday is bright and fun in every way. Happy birthday. Love your friend Angela. Hey, Angela. And she got a little love offering.
Yeah, it's a nifty 50 in there.
Look here. If you're looking on YouTube, it's got some confetti.
So when I tell you to come and pick something up and it's not dry, that means come on, get on over here.
Angela, thank you. Debo, thank you for being the keeper of my birthday blessings. I appreciate it. No, good looking out. I love a good gesture. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna make sure that I think she said she was not a Taurus. She said she was a Leo.
Taurus. My birthday was Tuesday.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get some. Y'all call in and wish Debo a happy birthday. Did they do that already? Did the people do that already?
I'm tired, and I still have a Mother's Day birthday celebration.
That part.
At Mr. B's. So yeah, I'm tired already. But
I didn't get my invitation. Is that because Dime with Dime?
Because what it'll take to get in is actually in that envelope. It's $50 admission.
I'm just saying. So let me properly say.
Don't tell me you don't have it. Because I know you got it now.
Let me say thank you again, Angela. I appreciate you so very much. Birthdays are monumental. Debo, happy birthday.
Same to you, Ebony.
I'm first drink on me. Right out. I know. Good morning. He over here hurting y'all. This man is putting in work. He done upped his sets. He knows that Community Heartbeat is about health and wellness. So he in the gym. He done stacked a couple more weights on there. And now he hurt.
Lord have mercy.
But he gonna be swole by
He's swole now.
Super swole.
Buff Bagwell. My Buff Bagwell on, man.
I feel like that needs a cartoon character. But shout out to you. Shout out to you for making that commitment to health. I'm still in my I'm gonna get there.
Jermaine, I'm gonna tell you something a young lady told me. She said her mother told her that being beautiful is painful.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
So if you're trying to get it together and you working on you, man, the working out and all of that, it's gonna be some pain to go with that.
This is true. I know. I'm going through.
I could go down the whole rabbit hole that yeah. Yeah, you're right. Pretty hurts. I think that's what Beyonce
said. The shoes be hurting, but you cute. You pretty.
You know what? I learned very early on. We don't wear shoes and undergarments that don't fit well. That will make your life. That will make your life. So we don't make sure those
undergarments too. Undergarments too.
Because if it's not, you spend your whole time just trying to
readjusting.
So if you're about to turn over a new leaf and get outside and get healthy, get buff and swole, super swole, like right out, congratulations. If you want to be with the buffet club and the brunch babes, call me. That's who I want to hang with this summer. Just eating good food, being around good people. But for me, that's a part of my mental health and wellness. I let so much stuff go, y'all, because it's not necessary. So as we continue to talk about the show today, what are some of the things that you are doing personally and professionally to stay mentally healthy and mentally well? So as always, I give you kind of the rundown of what's happening at Outreach Community Health Centers, 220 West Capitol Drive. We still got immunizations, vaccine incentives. If you have been watching the measles numbers, these babies are about to be outside for the summer, meaning that they're connecting with each other a bit more, which means some of these easily transmittable diseases are going to spike. So get your babies in before the summer hits. Get that well child check. We also have harm reduction still going on Tuesday. So if you know someone that is using substances, narcotics, cocaine, all of that stuff, there is a program on Tuesdays from 1:30 to 3:30 that Outreach hosts. So give us a call, 414-727-6320. In the second hour, we will also talk about some of these challenges that come along with stress and how that is relative to drug use. So there's a connection to that. The Detective Dinner, June 26th. If you have not purchased your ticket already, get started. What you waiting for? OCHC-MILW.org to get your tickets for that. July 27th, we are at the Milwaukee Men's Health 5K. So start training. Now, right out, are you a runner or are you more into
I'm
weights?
a runner. I'm a track star.
I walk right into that one. I walk right. But would you say your routine is more lifting and weights or is it more cardio and running?
It's actually both. So what I do is either about an hour of cardio on the bike and an hour of lifting. So I do.
So don't try to get at him, y'all, because you're only die tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna outrun you, and you're gonna put in some work when you get there, right?
Oh yeah, we gonna work.
Listen, I'm gonna get back at it. I used to run religiously. I did. But yeah, let me tell you,
come on,
it's hard. It's hard, Lord.
Yeah. See, but what I figured out, because it was really hard for me when I first started, but it was only hard because mentally I told myself it was hard. And every time I was like, and it made it harder and harder until I started saying, I want this. I want to make a difference. I want to see a difference.
Yeah.
So those times that I felt like I didn't want to do it, that it was being too much, I rechanneled that energy.
But that's how it should be. So do you run through mantras like gotta get up, gotta do you positive self-talk?
Yeah, I got to, because if I don't, I find myself sitting there like, okay, well, I go at 2, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then 1:30 will come and I'll be like, you know what? I go at 5. And then 3:30, 4 o'clock comes, like, yeah, it's over.
Listen, the bed would not release me this morning. It was warm. It was comfortable. I rolled over. It said 5:05. I said I could just close my eye just for 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. I knew that was going to be destructive. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I have to get my mind right when I roll over because, so this morning I'm like, goals. You got to think about your goals.
Yeah.
What about the people? What you gonna the people? Yeah. So all of those things make a big difference in terms of your goals, your positivity, your mental health. Like, what are you saying to yourself? So um having that list of things that you want to achieve. So I know Debo does not do New Year's resolutions. That's not his jam. But having those goals in front of you can help to decide, like, is this for me or not for me? Yeah. So sometimes when that bed won't let me go, I'm like, you know what, Ebony? Winners win. Yeah. Winners win. And winners do it even when they don't feel like it. That's what makes the champion, right? So all of those things. So again, happy Mental Health Awareness Month. I do want to hear back from you. What are you doing to make life better for yourself, make life better for others and those around you? 414-444-5250 is the number to connect. It is also National Women's Health Week, Hepatitis Awareness Month, Preeclampsia Awareness Month, National Hospital Week. It's all of those things. But in addition to mental health, there's another one that is very important to me, and that's high blood pressure, right? We have to figure out as a community how to be better about our blood pressure. Now, it's a twofold solution. The first one is eating better. We have to know that some foods are just not good for us. Now, right out last night as I was waiting for my dinner to get ready, I had that little home-based charcuterie board, right? So a little salami, a little cheese. And as I rolled the salami in the meat in the cheese to eat it, I said, Ebony, this is probably not the most heart-healthy snack that you could have. The sodium is probably, I don't know, my daily value, and just that little plate I had, about a day's worth of sodium. So what I'm saying is, together as a community, y'all, we got to do better because that salt is killing us.
Yeah,
but it's delicious.
But the thing is, what type of substitute foods can we eat that would give us the right amount of sodium and not be bad for us?
It's not salami with the smoked cheese, with the cracker, with the... Sure. Oh my God. I mean, your fruits, your vegetables, those are the things that we should be eating. And I do feel like it's a whole process. Yeah. The better you eat, the more healthy you feel. Last week, I fell all the way off the wagon. I had Chick-fil-A one day. I had Asian noodles the next day. I had Culver's the third day. I was like all the way off the wagon.
A week of celebration, huh?
I had a big old plate of nachos. And at the end of the week, I get on the scale. I was like, you know what this looks like. You know what it is. So as a community, we know these things, but we got to hold each other accountable because heart disease is taking us out. So I want to hear back from you, Milwaukee. What is on your mind? What's on your heart? Community heartbeat. Is that too deep, too soon to be? What's on your heart this morning? What? But it's important. So let's talk to each other. 414-444-5250. Other things happening at Outreach. We are still committed to the lead crisis component. So as Milwaukee Public Schools is getting ready to let out for the summer over the next couple of weeks, this is a perfect time to get your babies in for their well child checks and test for lead poisoning. It's only detectable in the blood, but lead should not be in the blood. And as we know, these schools have paint. We know they have exposure points. It's up to us. So if history has served us any lessons, is that we have to make sure we're being proactive too. So get your babies in. 414-727-6320. Schedule a well child check and get that lead testing piece included in your appointment. Now, measles is also back. So again, as the kids get together, they're going to be in groups. It's important to know that measles is back. Get the vaccination. It's not worth it. And then finally, don't forget you can get appointments as early as next week in the family medicine residency program with outreach at MCW. So we have a caller. Greetings and good morning. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Sure. The 1 minute to office, but what else can you do? Himalayan salt is good for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we need to still do that in moderation. When you go to your doctor, you can look online from the healthy foods for you. Cut out the soy. Soy is 1,000 items. Soy is very bad for you.
Okay.
So, but you can look it up. You can't avoid some of that stuff. So we need to, this is what I do. Now, let's say I'm going somewhere, I get some errands to run. I mean, I want to stop at a fast food place. I don't do Chick-fil-A. I don't do Culver's. I don't know why, but I just don't do food with meat between bread all the time. They don't have any salads or anything like that. None I want to eat on. So take some carrots, cut up some cucumbers in a little Tupperware container, Ziploc bag, and grab some of those. Or if you go to the store and you buy chips or buy something low sodium in it and look at that and put some of that in a Ziploc bag so you get the munchies and you're roaming around town. Maybe you're going to have supper later on this evening, but you don't want a whole lot of food. You don't have to stop at a fast food place and get meat between bread all day. And that Chick-fil-A and all that stuff
you're
is
so
bread.
right. Listen, you're so right.
I'm going to tell you something. I have a meeting today, right? And I have to leave where I work at, which I work at the courts. Guess what I'm having now? This is not for everybody, but I've been doing this all my life since I was a kid. I'm taking blueberries. I'm going to probably take some strawberries, and I'll eat those at the meeting because it's around lunchtime. I didn't even think about a bag of chips to bring to the meeting. I got a granola bar, some of those kind of bars like that. Get some things like that, maybe some almonds and some nuts. They have a little salt. I buy both. I buy with salt and I buy it without salt. Then I mix them together. I still like a little of that sodium. But it's very difficult to train yourself to do this. When I was campaigning, I seen kids go into a store and they buy the chips and they go in the back and the guy put that liquid cheese on there, which is not good for you at all. So you got a child trained at a young age. Now I turn to be 40, 50. It's extremely difficult. It's like telling Kathy or somebody, you can't have wine anymore. You can't have sex anymore. You can't have this anymore. When I've been doing it for 40 years, it's very difficult to change that. So we have to start early to show our children early. I was taking some kids to school during COVID, right? And guess what happened? The school said they need a little bit more snacks. Sometimes we don't have enough stuff in the kitchen, right? So they were little children. So I cut a half a banana up, and each one in the car had a half banana in a Ziploc bag. I put some other things in there. What kind of grapes do y'all like? And they told me. So I put those in a Ziploc bag. And guess what else I put in? I put Raisin Bran in there instead of a bag of chips. I put them in a Ziploc bag. And that's still cereal with they ate on it. So we have to do differently. I buy cereal and I got flaxseed in it. You can't taste flaxseed, but it's very good for you. And you can put that in foods. Get you some fresh ginger and cut it up. And lemons. I'm cutting lemons up, and I'm going to have that at work in my water.
See, listen, I just need you to just follow me around all day and just slap it out of my hand. Because you're absolutely right. The preparation to have those snacks. And on a good day, I do pack a lunch. I love a good, because you could put tuna down on top of lettuce and all that. You can make a nice little salad. Right. You can put chicken salad down into a salad. So on a normal day, I do try to eat well. But when I tell you I fell so far off the wagon last week, and you know what? As you start to eat better, you start to notice that the taste of real food is better. Like now I'll go back and have that processed cheese, and it's not good.
No, it's not. And you took the words right out of my mouth. And another thing people do, I'm going to tell you something. If you love cold cuts, and let's say turkey, it's hard doing this time of season to find turkey. If you get some turkey, cut it up, cook it, cut it up and slice it, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then put it in the freezer. So you're going to work or lunch, you want a snack just to ride around the city in, grab that out of there and use that with some not whole grain bread, not whole wheat. Wheat is not good for you. Whole grain. Or sourdough. Okay. Sourdough is good, and pretzel bread is very good for you. And you can look these things up online. Which bread is a healthier bread for you? It's simple to look that up. ask your doctor to send you to a nutritionist or something like that to talk to you about this. But you can look online for a lot of that stuff and say, what's good for me? What's good for this? What's good for high blood pressure? What's good for this? What a lot of swelling and stuff people having their feet on and legs is inflammation.
It is. You're absolutely right. And I feel like inflammation too is the body trying to say it does not like this. I mean,
right,
if we think,
when you're swelled up and stuff, there's a problem with that. Let me tell you something. I don't know what a headache feels like. If I'm buying some aspirin because I probably bumped my arm or my shoulder or something, moving something around or moving things around in my rental property, it's not a headache. Now, if I'm not feeling well, like a cold or a flu, then I may have a little bit of a achy of everywhere, even a headache, but I don't get stuff like that. I hear people claiming these diseases, but you never hear me claiming any of that stuff. And I weigh about say 15 pounds more or less when I was in high school. And that's been quite a while ago.
Look, right. You got you broken the code then. Like you.
So what happened was we were raised a certain way anyway. So I still follow those, although I do fall off the bandwagon. I'm going to have me some barbecue ribs. My mom didn't eat pork, but I'm going to have that for the holiday. And we eat macaroni and cheese like it's the only meal. I'm doing a repast this week, right? I don't want any macaroni and cheese at the repast. You know why? I'm sick of all those carbs. When somebody says I bring mashed potatoes, I'm not eating that.
That's my weakness. I say.
What about some cold cut? What about some cold vegetables, like a veggie tray or fruit tray? You can have like a reception. Everybody thinks they got to go overboard. The whole family said, we're not ordering from any place that sells soul food. We don't want that old heavy food like that. Take all day and it costs too much money. You get a fruit tray. You have like appetizers. You don't have to overfeed people, and it costs too much money. And I feel good every day. Get you some ginger, fresh ginger or ginger water. Get a juicer.
Yeah,
but it's very difficult for people to do that. And don't get that bad big old sheet cake, all that old frosting on it, and all the sugar. And then a diabetic will take its medication. This is he'll tell me why I took my medication. Same way the blood pressure. Well, the only reason why you're taking that medication because you can't control what you're doing. You don't take the medication and go get some salty popcorn if you got high blood pressure. You don't have that.
Look, don't take my popcorn away. But no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely
But you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to cook all this food, and everybody loves macaroni and cheese. They name mashed potatoes. They name everything but some fresh vegetables. And they overcook the string beans. And string beans do not have to have potatoes in it all the time. And if you're doing potatoes, get the purple or the red potatoes.
You're going to get me banned on this radio station.
Ruining everybody's
talking
menu.
About,
well, I'm going to have a party for the radio station, and I bet everybody's going to eat my food either. You know why? Because I probably going to get raw veggies. I'll do a party and I'll have raw veggies.
What you say, Kathy? Ain't nobody gonna eat your food?
Well, they may say I don't know how to cook. No, but I'm not going to have macaroni and cheese on my menu because that's all carbs. And by pasta, when you buy that, you got to buy the what do you call it? Butternut squash. You boil that and you peel it off, and it looks just like spaghetti, but it's the healthier food. So I think a lot of people are not trying to be healthy. They talk like they're being healthy, and they're still eating the wrong food. And don't buy diet soda and then eat all this food.
No, listen, you got me right on together this morning. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening.
And a Diet Coke.
No, we ain't doing that.
I will have a triple cheeseburger and a Diet Coke.
Yeah,
right
now. Coke.
And if you're a diabetic, don't put that barbecue sauce on there. Just eat it by itself.
With the spice rub.
You just messing up all the menu, Kathy.
You're listening to Community Heartbeat with nutritional recipes throughout the day. No, I love that, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening.
You're welcome.
We're going to take a quick break. You are listening to Community Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. We will be right back. is the show. This is the movement. Listen, during each and every
Tylenol 8s, though, by the way, them Tylenol 8s.
Tylenol 8.
During each and every break, we are in here cutting up. We are in here acting up. I'm so very glad it does not go out over the air because I would be in trouble. It would be naughty time and Ebony would have to go to the corner. So we gonna try to keep it positive. With that, keeping it positive, I try to take a positive approach on pretty much everything. So, but I'm curious, Milwaukee, how are y'all dealing with stress, right? If we just took, we talked about the diet and what we eat, I feel like that has a direct correlation with how we feel. So on the days where I'm loading up on foolishness and junk food, by the way, Five Guys has Cajun fries. I just wanted to share that little piece with you. Five Guys has Cajun fries.
I thought about opening up the hood version of Five Guys and call it A Few Brothers.
And I'm there, and I will have an Uncle Jim
right
with
Cousin Paul,
Cousin Pete. Let me get that combo. I will support a little side of mac and cheese instead of fries. Just I like where you're going with that. That's a business opportunity, and I got 5 on it. No, I was all the way off the wagon, but the next couple of days, I felt like trash. Like I felt sluggish. I felt just not at my best. So I do think what we eat has a direct correlation to how we feel. So then how do we move in high stress situations? So this week I got a lot going on, as I'm sure most of you do. And it's just like high stress, moving from one thing to another. When there is high stress, I find myself being more calm. Right. So like I'm the person though that first you got to kind of slap around, like snap out of it. Right. When a crisis hits. But then I try to figure out what is the next best thing that you can do in that situation. So when you're in a high stress, high challenging environment, I'm curious, what do you do? Milwaukee 414-444-5250. Tell me what you do. There are some people who freeze. Right? Like they just don't know what to do next. And so they're stuck. There's some people who run away, like no matter what high stress piece is happening, they remove themselves from that, which I think can be successful too. And then there's some people that fight, like everything is a fight. I have chosen to choose my battles. I think any wise person knows their triggers. They know the things that make them act out and act up. And for me, a lot of those things are just not worth it. I will leave people to stand there to argue with themselves because it's not worth it. So in high stress situations, I find myself being more calm, realigning with what my goals, what my purposes are, and what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Like, who am I and how am I showing up? So a lot of those things are important. How do you deal? The other thing I got to conversing with some folks, and we joked last show about the kangaroo meat and the horse meat. But I'm also interested to find out, as these new regulations are happening, as the cuts have come to the USDA, as all these things are happening, what are you doing for food security? Right? This is a conversation that I don't think we're having enough. Milwaukee is about to be out of school for the summer, MPS. And usually they do the food program, right? So my question is this: what are these babies going to eat this summer? Right? And does anybody care what the babies eat this summer? We should. What are we doing with our food sources? And how will that impact our high stress? So I'm going to string all those things together. I want you to talk back to me. Tell me what your thoughts are. 414-444-5250. How do we deal? Like, how do we deal? Then I started thinking about how us as a community, and I'm going to just say us. Y'all know who I'm talking to. Us. When we say things like, what's good? Right? You good? Right? So if I ask you right out, you good? I know you ain't good today. You hurting today.
Man.
You're not good. Ooh. But when someone asks you what's good, what are they actually saying to you?
They asking what's up with you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? Is everything all right?
Yeah. And how honest are we in those situations?
9 times out of 10, we not.
And why?
Well,
why not being honest?
I think for some people, man, it's the fact that who really cares? You know, who really cares how you feeling? You know, it says, being cordial, but who really cares that I'm sore as a fool right now and I still got to work?
I said I got you at the next break, but no, I do. But you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
It's just like, okay, well, suck it up, buttercups.
Yeah. Look, y'all, I'm going to pause. I'm going to get some Tylenol out of my purse. This is a live moment. This is live. Debo, do we have the camera? We have the camera.
I sure appreciate it. Talk to him, Debo.
Talk to him, Debo. We'll just put that little banner up there and you'll,
No, preparation is key.
It is.
Proper preparation prevents what?
Poor performance.
You know, the elders put another P in there. You know what they do. So no, I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna get some.
See, I so appreciate it because this is health and awareness.
Yes, Lord. Make sure you check your dosage.
God, dog. Michelle Bryant, where you at to come hit a brother in the shoulder?
Oh my God!
I hit you.
Yes,
don't hit.
No, I hit you.
You got it. You got it. Look. Let Mama open this up. Let Mama open this up.
You got enough power in my arm to even twist the thing.
Have you had that looked at, man? I mean, this is like the second time that
it's just man. I think it's more of me irritating that muscle. Doing shoulders and lifting,
getting swole.
Yeah,
getting swole.
Just like the old song says, no pain,
no gain. That used to run on a commercial.
That's that baddie.
That ran at midnight. Right. I'm just saying. No, so yeah, take the meds.
My shoulder and I back together again.
You got joke.
Nothing is better than it.
No, pain.
It's working better than it's ever been.
Real. Pain is
if
for
it
real.
weren't for the pain that I went through.
Go sing it. Go. No, we need Ride Out to be at full capacity so he can keep, he's our glue for the show.
Yeah.
That's
glue.
He is the glue.
So right now, man, I'm feeling like monkey tape.
That gorilla glue.
Yeah, I feel like monkey tape. Chimpanzee tape right now.
My God. So no, we need you to have your to get better. We have a caller. Greetings and good morning. I told you we cutting up in here. I told you. Good morning to you.
Good morning. This is Angela.
Hey, Miss Angela. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you for the love. I appreciate. And that's a cute car. Adorable.
Well, you're very welcome.
I appreciate you. How you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great. God is good. He woke me up this morning. My feet hit the ground. I'm 11,000.
All the time.
Right out. What's the matter, baby?
What's going on, baby?
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, right now I'm sitting here in a little pain, but
Is there anything I can do for you? You want me to bring you anything?
Milwaukee,
yeah, bring me some love.
We just
the right show.
This happened every morning. This is
the right show. Mental awareness month.
It's grown folks' business. I'm about to stay.
You'll be in the right place when you get out of the mix.
Hello, Mr. D-Lo.
Great morning to you, Angela. How are you?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
That's great.
They're in here with high energy this morning.
Okay, but Mr. Rideout, back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to let her just sit on the sideline because I got you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No.
Ooh.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that listen, I feel like we need a mellow mood show. We'll talk about that after.
We did the other day.
Take a break.
Hey. I'm gonna bust into it again. If this was I will place at your feet.
There you go.
All that.
You know, let's go and do a little segue. I feel like rigorous relations is good for your mental health. I'm just gonna put it that way. I'm gonna put it that way, just in case my mother is listening. Keep it PG. But yes, it is good cardio for the body. So it's good to listen to your entire body and listen to what it's telling you.
Yeah.
I believe that people would agree. I believe that people would agree. So, Angela, sometimes you got to take time to give your body what it needs, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm just saying that because I had to give myself a mental last night because I was under the weather myself. But yeah, I just had to shut down my phone and didn't talk to anyone. I didn't care who was calling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I just
real.
said no.
That's real. Because I will
Not
tell you
tonight.
this, people, the song "Keep on Using Me Until You Use Me Up." That
Yes,
song,
ma'am.
it people will like keep coming back to the well until you power it down. I agree with that.
Last night I just said, I'm not talking to anyone. I don't care. Whatever you ain't got,
Yep.
too bad.
Yep.
Not tonight.
I agree.
I'm doing me.
I agree. Look, look. We gonna have a talk, Miss Angela. You and me.
Okay.
We might launch a different show. That might be something different. We
can do that because it needs to be said some days to let people know. I'm not a robot.
Yep.
I have to take some days for myself where I need to just let my body shut down and do me. Stop running for everybody else because don't nobody run for me when I'm sick. Nobody.
This is true. And I think even I would venture to say a lot of women find ourselves in that position where we nurture.
And make it so bad. Make it so bad. They got cars. I don't even own a car. I'd be on the bus.
See, and still doing it for the people. That's why we love
you. Yes,
you.
ma'am.
That's why just know Milwaukee loves you. And we appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you listening. And getting involved and listening. What you and Ride Out. We'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Talk to you later.
We'll talk about
Bye out.
Bye, baby.
Have a wonderful day. Wonderful day. Well, listen, community heartbeat where you can act up a little bit, but that is also good for the heart. Little cardio, little moments to be had. But I agree with that. Slowing down, turning the phone off. I think we need more days where we just don't have our phone in front of us. That's a benefit to the mental health. I know there's statistics that connect the youth and mental health and how much they're using social media. All that's connected. But when was the last time you actually got on the phone and just talked to a friend? Like pick up the phone, call the number, and have a conversation. That's good for your mental health. Laugh. We don't laugh enough. Why is everybody mean mugging? Why is everybody mad? Let's enjoy life. It's not until you realize loss. It's not until you get to a place where people can't laugh and can't be inspired that you realize how important it is. Ebony has learned how to dismiss things. Again, not everything requires you to fight. Not everything is your fight. Let some stuff go. And we don't know any warriors across the world, military, otherwise spiritual warriors that are always fighting. You got to rest. You got to ride out. You got to rest. Even your muscles, not muscles. Muscles.
Muscles.
Your muscles got to rest. You cannot have, you can't work the same muscle every time. So I'm going to even put the heart in there. Give yourself some time to rest.
You know what? It's funny that you even say that, because with the muscle, your heart is a muscle.
Your heart that never rests.
So if it's working harder than it's designed to work, eventually it's like lifting weights. If you overwork that muscle after a while, it's going to tear.
Yeah.
Something is going to happen.
That's a preach.
Come on now, give me an offer now.
Yes, that's a preach. Seriously.
No, but seriously, with the heart, you want to be very, very, very careful with how you treat your heart, because once it's torn, it's kind of hard to be fixed. Amen. Amen.
Why we do it?
Debo, close the door.
Did you close
the doors?
Okay, did you get that?
Like lock them doors.
That's it. Close the
I
door.
said lock them doors.
I need a $12,000 line.
The heart, though, is the only muscle. I mean, some will argue the brain too, organ that moves throughout your whole life, from birth to death. That thing has to, and once it's ruined,
once it's ruined,
yeah. You all right?
Come on,
you
man.
all right?
But
I pay attention.
Doesn't the brain tell the body what to do?
Yeah, the brain is almost like the brain is the source.
Yeah.
But listen, it's the source.
What my brain says during those runs and workouts
is go to bed, lay down, do not run. That's what mine be saying.
It's like, Ebony, no, we're really gonna die this time. I'm like, no, we just got started. Like,
don't you do that to me, Ricky Bobby.
It's like, no, but for real, Ebony, stop. I'm like, look, we 30 seconds into the run, we're not gonna die, but maybe we will, right? So my brain goes crazy like that. But yeah, your brain and your heart. I mean, those are the two things that you're really gonna need throughout this life to be. Indeed. So keeping those two things well are what we want to see. So in our second hour, we will be talking better ways to cope. So when we talk about the heart figuratively, like it's an organ that helps your body stay alive, but it's also a body that an organ that helps you navigate life. So what are some of those things that stress your heart? How do we cope though when life leaves you heartbroken? Like, that's a whole nother show, right? Yeah. Like, sometimes life have you a little heartbreak. You get your Jodeci on. You're in the leather, singing in the desert, right? Singing to the people you love. All that's important though, and how we navigate that is important. And let's be real, if we really, really break it down, some people have difficulty coping. And so those coping mechanisms turn into drug use, turn into alcohol use, turn into the overexertion and overindulgence in some things. So figuring out the best way to live through that and move through that, paramount, necessary. But we'll talk about what happens when that goes off the rails in our second hour. Services and outreach, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. We'll be talking with our Director of Behavioral Health, just in what the appointments look like, how long the wait list is, and what you can expect when you walk in for that appointment. We'll get into depression, right? So when the heart and the mind don't work in alignment, you can start to feel things. You can start to have your perspective change on things, and that creates some mental health concerns. So we're going to get all up in that. Mental health is one of the areas that outreach is committed to. So we want to make sure that we're giving you those resources to keep you healthy. So how we think, how we feel, how we handle stress, how we relate to others, how we make choices. Mental health is just as, I think, even more important than our physical health. All those make a difference. So greetings and welcome to Community Heartbeat. Looks like we have a caller. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I know you were talking.
No,
First thing I want to say, when life throw you lemons, make a martini.
Okay.
If you want to, and you have to keep living. And also, you got to remember this: when you see something wrong, you call it out. So sometimes you start telling people off and cussing them out even more. You might feel bad, but you'll be all right the next morning. Start hurting their feelings before they. Yes, because see, sometimes they take your kindness for a weakness. Sometimes when they take your kindness for a weakness, you got to step on their heart and step on their pinky toe, and don't forget the big toe.
Pinky toe? Oh, you came today. The pinky toe. I hear that.
Yes, and when you do that, you will feel so much better. But remember, you might not have as many friends because they're going to say you're mean. It's not that you're mean. You're just putting your recipe in their recipe. So the next time it say, see ya, don't want to be you, call me when you don't have to stay too long. Goodbye. Because your news is no good news, and my news has never been your news. Keep on living and have a great weekend.
I love it. I appreciate that. You just came in, dropped those gems on us, and I appreciate it. You do bring up a good point though about holding things in. There's a tactful way to approach things, but I agree with you. There are some that will drag you to their level, but you got to be careful because what's the saying that a pig will drag you to their level and then beat you with their incompetence, right? So you got to be careful. You both end up muddy and dirty. But my mother would say, and I'm not sure if she's listening, but my mother would say, you never start a fight. That's not how you move through life. But you let people know that you're not the one and that you can finish them, right? I don't believe in being negative to people. I don't believe in putting out negative energy, but I have been taught how to keep people off of me with the same energy that is directed to you. So just making sure that we have the mental health space. Know that everybody is also not in the space that you might think they're in. So provoking some may create more challenges than you may be ready for. That's the way I'm gonna put that. Provoking some people may create more challenges than you're actually ready for. So you got to watch who you're approaching with a certain negativity, because some people will meet you at the low level that you're right. So words help. But some people can only get that picture by action. So we have a caller. Greetings and good morning to you. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Good morning, lady, and good morning to the fellas on the boards.
Good morning. Good morning. How you feeling this morning?
This is Rick calling you long distance from Germany.
Hey, Rick from Germany.
And I am after a CIA poison in 2003. I'm lucky to be alive, lucky to be me. I just want to say that I wish everybody a healthy life, but not by force, not by shaming and shunning, by gentle persuasion and education, but not by force. I wish everybody health and better living.
So tell me this, Rick from Germany. What are some of the things, maybe the one or two things that you've been able to think about, recite, meditate on that have helped put you in a better headspace?
Giving up the alcohol. I'm struggling with the alcohol now, but giving up the alcohol for most days with most meals, that has been a life-saving choice. Also, toxic people. You got to cut back on toxic people.
Yeah, that's the truth. And just removing yourself from just being in their space. It is a blessing to be connected to you. Just know that it is a blessing to be connected to you. At any given time, you can remove that blessing from people who have shown themselves not to value that blessing, right? And that's not mean. That's not aggressive. That is just simply, we can choose the battles we choose to fight. And some people just are not worth that investment. That's the truth. So you said reducing the alcohol and just repeating those positive mantras is a thing that doesn't work. Now, I personally have learned me reacting immediately doesn't work, because I will meet you exactly where you are, and most people don't want that. So we have another caller. Greetings and good morning. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
Hey, Ebony, happy born day.
Good morning.
Hey, brother
Good morning to you.
You don't have hello. Don't give me no half hello.
Milwaukee, y'all stand with me on this one. I need some backup on this one. Good morning. Why don't you introduce yourself to the people?
This is Brother Kwaku. Brother Kwaku is trying to recover from these surgeries. It's been hard. Having setbacks.
Now tell us what you done did first, all right? So tell us who your specialty and what you have done that precludes you from the studio.
Oh, look at you! I was. This is why I was nervous to call. This is why I was nervous to call.
You already knew I was gonna get after you.
I know. Mm-hmm. And I owe you. Listen, I had the third surgery in 5 years. So you talk about mental health. It's like when your body started to let you down.
Yeah.
When especially like when you have depended on it for so long, and it's like it's been good. So it's like different things. The old people used to tell me, they say, just keep living.
That, and listen, you'll figure it all out if you just keep living.
Just keep on living. And then, Brother Debo was so wise. He would tell me, he said, brother, just slow down. He said, you keep saying you're going to do this, and just kind of let your body heal, because you have these expectations. Yep. But like your body and your mind is so geared to go. Yep. And I think one of the things that I've been taught during this is like, you got to sit down, and sometimes it's a humbling thing, because you say, hey, if you die, the world keeps going.
That same afternoon, if we could be real honest with it, right?
And so you learn like your real place in the world. Sometimes you can think that you have to do more than what you have to do, like the world can't exist without you, and you learn the world can exist just fine without you. And so for your mental health, it's about, how do I take care of myself? And the last caller from Germany, I think he has hit it on the point. And I think what makes it so hard for me right now is that community is so big for my mental health. It's the gathering, the coming around like-minded people who want to do the best, who want great things. And I think once you're taken away from that community, you recognize like how much is gone. I've been on bed rest for like the last 2.5 weeks.
See,
so just staying in your room.
We're going to have to put you on the list. But you're right. And I think even if I could just piggyback on that particular point, I think so much of that is built into our community. So we talk a lot about church and like the way we were brought up, the sick and the shut in list, right? Like I was going to make a joke, but I feel like that was our way to make sure that we were connected to people who couldn't come to the meeting place, right? And so we going to come to see you. We're going to bring you a couple plates. Because you are right, that community piece is how we connect to each other. That is our saving grace. That is what we do to boost our mental health. So I'm not mad at that, for real. Yep.
No, and so Lord's will, I should be back here next week. Everything should be good. So I'm don't
y'all hear him, right? So he's gonna be on with me in studio. But let me just ask you a couple questions, and while I have you.
Yes, ma'am.
When we think about mental health and we think about what we should be doing collectively as a community, what are one or two things that you could drop some gems to us to get to stay well?
You know what? It's like you've already dropped them, because it's three things. When people ask me about mental health, what we say is the thing is sort of like with Debo and with New Year's resolutions. Most people know what to do, they just can't sustain it. So it's 4 things that you need to do. If you can do these 4 things, you have the formula.
Okay.
Well,
we've already said them. Ride Out is like, you better go to break. So give me my 4 things.
No, and it's funny because you and Ride Out is number 1 and number 2. you have to exercise. Yeah. But just like Ride Out is hurt. Some pain is good, but then sometimes you can work out too much. Yeah. Where it's like it becomes over excessive. Yeah. So you got to be careful. But your body needs daily exercise. You need 30 minutes of movement. Yeah. Now, I don't care what that movement is, because people say, I don't want to work out. Well, you can walk. Yeah. You can clean. You can have sex. You can do, it's so many different ways in which workouts can be completed. It is. No, we say it kind of jokingly, but it's the truth. But also, sex creates a lot of oxytocin, dopamine, pheromone levels, and things of that nature. It's a feel-good drug. So
listen, we're gonna put you on hold, because that's the kind of we're gonna have this. Hold through this break. Listen, we're gonna be right back. It's Dr. Kwaku in the building on the phone. You are listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show, this is a movement. I'm Ebony SsALI. We will be right back.
AURN News. I'm Jamie Jackson. A new global survey from IBM shows that artificial intelligence is quickly gaining traction in the workplace. Of 2,000 CEOs surveyed worldwide, 61% said they're already adopting AI agents and preparing to scale them across their organizations. While only a quarter of AI projects have delivered the expected return on investment in recent years, more than half of the CEOs say they're seeing benefits beyond just cost savings, including improvements in innovation and operations. Looking ahead, 85%.
WNOV, The Voice.
Welcome back to Community Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. I am Ebony SsALI. Listen, before the break, we started talking about the beautiful things that help for our mental health. We talked cardio, we talked good health, but we also talked good old sexual relations. Good old sexual relations. So greetings, good morning, welcome back. Now you were just easing us in
But no, listen, what we were talking about was exercise, and what we were talking about just all of the different routes of exercise that are conventional and non-conventional. Sometimes two-a-days ain't bad. So when you talk about workout, you get in multiple kind of workouts. So you know. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm normally on my 2 days.
Agreed. I wholly support this message. Now the views and opinions, Devo, of this. No, I mean, and there's a level of like understanding people as totality, right? We're not robots. We're not on autopilot all the time. So those are things that just make life having intimacy. So I'm even going to say from a point where it's not sexual relations, but being able to be yourself, being able to be real, letting people into your thoughts, having that intimacy, I feel is also good for your mental health. Am I right, Doc?
No, you are, because you done already hit my number 4. But I'm gonna go to number 2 because see, look, y'all didn't need me. See, this makes me feel good. No, but it's like you said. You said number 2, and you started off with it. We talked about our diet. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about what we eat, diet directly correlates to our mental health. Most of the time when we eat a lot of food, you know, a lot of people have heard the term comfort food. Mm-hmm. When we get sad, when we're emotional, we go to different foods that make us feel good. And I think it was Miss Angela who talked about it before about starting early. Yeah. The minister has stated, he said, you want to eat to live, not live to eat. And that's what so many of us do. We put emotions and attachments to our food. So Big Mama made me this. So the love that Big Mama gave me is attached to this food. But those food probably weren't the best for us physically, even though they had a good component. That's why we keep them. Yeah. But when we start talking about the old maxim, it says, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. When we think about the greatest foods that help us, when somebody is sick, they say, hey, let's get them some chicken stew. Hey, when somebody
you right about
I want something like this, hey, let's get the carrots, let's get the blueberries, let's get the strawberries, all of those things that we know help to produce antioxidants, all of those things we know to help to produce the good sugar, things of that nature. So when we start talking about are we serious, the thing is we know what to do. Mm-hmm. The question is, do we have the desire, the dedication, and the discipline to do those things on a continual basis? It ain't nothing wrong with going to Chick-fil-A every blue moon. That just can't be your regular diet.
True story.
So it's all about moderation too. And we got to remember the reason why we have some of the foods that we have now, this goes back to the Great Depression. When there was a food shortage, that creates a crisis in the nation. Yeah. And what they said is this will never happen again. So when they started putting the preservatives in the food, that was so food could last. And that's what people are talking about doing now, right? We're going to stack up on all these canned goods.
Right back at it. We are right
because
back.
we don't know what's going to happen. I'd rather have bad food than no food. The problem is if you ain't got no food, then you're going to eat whatever. But now when you got a choice, we want to choose better. So that's the second one. Okay. Now the third one, and this is what's going to hurt a lot of people, is sleep. And this is where our schedules defeat us because we're too busy. We always put too much on our plate. Like I said, I've been on bed rest, and I had to learn how to re-sleep because my body was so tuned to go. It didn't even know how to rest when I had time to rest.
Now,
we always put stuff on our plate.
That's one thing Ebony will do religiously is I will lay it down. At 9:30, it's a wrap.
Listen, that's true. That's true because when I had my surgery, you know, I was so used to moving around and doing this and being here and being there. When I had my surgery and I had to lay down, I had to be at home. It was so hard for me to rest. I'm talking about restless nights because I didn't know how to rest.
Because your brain was wired. Your body could rest, but your mind didn't know how to slow down.
Y'all follow me for more sleep tips. Turn that phone off. Listen, call Jesus or call the police is what I say. Because at 10:30, 9:30, midnight, 1 o'clock, there's nothing I can physically do. But I joke when I say that. But for me to be on point, and for me to be sharp and clear and be able to think through issues, I have to have sleep. That foggy, that grind culture, that doesn't work for me to produce my best. So just
if I was in session with Ebony right now, I'd be like, hey man, sister, I love the discipline you have, but now we're gonna apply that discipline to those other areas.
The discipline
you have for your sleep No, that's all of us.
Right.
Like, we can do good in one area,
Yep.
but it's like, can we do good in all areas? And I'm guilty of it, so I'm not coming down on you.
Look, I wake up and I might make some cheese grits. Mind your business. I might have that good night's sleep and then wake up and make some biscuits and some cheese.
See, that's how we rationalize things in our mind, though, because we say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, but we neglect that we're not doing the others, and it's only when we do those things in totality that we have it. But the fourth point that goes to this, and this is what you were alluding to a little bit earlier, Ebony, it's like we need love in our life. And that love comes from community. That love comes from spirituality. That love comes from, like you said, the intimacy. Like I listen to EBONY, you hear him talk about his children, his grandchildren. It's like that kind of love can't be replaced. You hear a person say, hey, when I go into work, and this is my work family. You see people in fraternities or sororities, and they get together, and it's a bond. It's a closeness. I don't care what group you in. I've seen it in motorcycle clubs. I've seen it in sports teams. I've seen it in music groups. When you have a bond with certain people, it just feels you in a certain way, because what good is it if you eat well, you sleep and you exercise and you're this great person, but you have nobody to share with? Isn't that what Billy D said?
Look, because that's a love song. It is.
Come on.
It is.
You have nobody to share with. And so we're built on community. That's why when you're in prison, if they want to punish you, what they do, they put you in isolation. They take you away from the noise, from everybody. That's why, think about it, even when you upset with people in your house, long as they in your house, you're kind of okay. But you know they there, because if they ain't there, it's an emptiness. Even though you ain't did anything. So when we talk about what's good mental health, we talk about eat, sleep, diet, love, but doing it on a consistent basis, having a dedication and the discipline to be able to follow through on those things. And like we said, maybe we can't do it with a light switch, flip it on and off, but let that be our motivation. It's not a New Year's Eve goal or New Year's resolution, but it's a daily goal. I want to get better at this every day. The Japanese call it the rule of Kaizen, Kaizen. Get 1% better every day. And if you can just get a little bit better every day, the cumulative effect over 2 years, over 3 years, over 4 years has like this great monumental effect on your life.
So look, I wrote these 4 things down. I'm going to make a nice little graphic and put that on the website. And yes, you're going to heal up. We're going to come see about you, and we're going to make sure that you're here with us in 2 weeks. But before we let you go, let me ask you this question.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you encourage folks who, that old school mentality, well, I don't need no mental health assistance, I don't need to go talk to somebody? How would you encourage them to start the conversation for therapy, start the conversation to take care and make a priority mental health? How would you share that out with somebody who might be a little bit hesitant?
Okay, so it's 3 things. Okay. One, I let everybody know we already got a therapist, whether we know it or not. That's why your friend don't answer the phone when you call sometimes, because they think of being your therapist. They like, every time you call me, you calling me with a problem. You calling me asking me for something. Yeah. That's why we go to church the way we do. It's a natural therapy. Yeah. That's why we belong to things. So I say, first of all, we already do therapy. So the reason why we don't usually want to go to therapy is because it's a stigma attached, like it's something weak about it. So the first thing I let people know is the greatest strength is to ask for help. The greatest strength is to ask for help. If I'm moving, I ain't so arrogant that I'm going to say, I'm going to move this couch by myself. Right. I'm like, Debo, ride out. Hey, I need you, brothers.
Right.
Hey, help me move this couch. And so we can talk about a literal couch. So now we talk about the metaphorical couch. I need some help. So I work with athletes, and with athletes, they have it's an ego thing. Like, I don't need something. So instead of calling me their therapist, you know what they call me? This is my performance coach. Ooh. So that changes the whole direction, because we all need a coach. Like when Ride Out go to work out, you have a coach who motivates you. He can lift weights without himself, but if you got a trainer, somebody who does this on a regular, and they can keep you from hurting yourself, they can keep you on a good pace, you can see growth, you want to go back to them. And once you pay somebody, guess what? Now you really invested. So once you put a little skin in the game, you say, hey, you're going to get something out of this. So I tell them, one, like I said, hey, we already got a therapist. Now you just got to find the one that works for you. And if you got to change the name and title, it's there. But then the third thing is this. I tell people this. If you go to therapy, I ain't like Jesus. Don't come to me thinking, hey, after you work with me for 5 years, that it's going to be good. Therapy is just a part
of your recovery. Like we talked about diet, exercise, sleep, and love.
Yeah.
Studies show that if you go to a great psychologist, a great therapist, a great clinician, they can account for 14% of the variance of change in your life. So think about that. You go to a person that's out of 100% of that pie, they can account for 14%. That's more than a tenth. I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
But the other thing is 86% of other stuff you got to do. That's where it goes into having healthy relationships, doing the things you need to do, working actively, proactively on other things in life. So when we start talking about why do we go to therapy? Because the one thing is it can't hurt.
Right.
If it can only help, why not give it a try? And give it a try with the right person. And so what I would do is, like I said, I'm going to outreach where I meet with Ebony, where I meet with the great doctors down there. I ask them, the people who I trust, the people who I think care about me, can you direct me to a person who might be able to help me? Because if a person who I trust puts me to a person, the likelihood of me following up is better. But if you just do a cold reach out and get somebody horrible, and you already don't want to do it, you're going to be like, I knew this one for me. I don't want to do it. So what we do is just like when you need your bathroom fixed, you call your brother. Hey, who fixed your toilet last time? Can you give me his number? You go to somebody who got some type of advice, some type of experience with that. So that would be my advice to the person.
We appreciate you. Like I said, we're gonna come and check in on you. Because
I'm back to the good graces. I'm back to the good graces.
Lord. Listen, and don't let them songs get you too hype. You got to just do that 2-step. Now it makes more sense why the elders just do the 2-step, because you can't do too much. But no, we wish you all the best in a speedy recovery. We're gonna come and make sure you're good. And we will see you in 2 weeks. But thank you for just keeping this at the forefront. We appreciate it.
I love to my NOB family. This been brighten my day.
We appreciate you, Doc. Take care.
All love.
In the next few minutes, we're gonna have some additional clinicians in the studio just talking about mental health, mental awareness. So the 4 things, let me recap. Exercise, got to move your body. That movement could look anyway. Let's get together as a family and decide that movement can look different, but we got to move in some way, some shape, some fashion. Diet, I love the connection of like we bring people soup when they're not feeling well. What we're eating and what we're putting into our bodies makes all of the difference. So we got to eat well, got to have the diet piece. You got to sleep. Somebody put the connection to me some years back that sleep is the time your body takes out the trash. And just like you wouldn't sit in a house with just junk and trash everywhere, we cannot do the same with our sleep. So making sure we get those hours. Grind culture is dead. We are sleeping and resting. And love, wrapping your arms around the community, finding the belonging, the spirituality, the connection, having all that is so important. So those 4 things, thank you, Doc, for sharing with us and letting us know what that looks like. And listen, therapy is a thing. Do that. Find that additional connection. And I love calling it a performance coach, because each day we're expected to show up and perform. So with that being said, we got to make sure that we're keeping each other accountable, but also keeping each other healthy. So refer out if need be. That's all a part of the wellness. Y'all talking back to me this morning, and I like it, Milwaukee. It will take all of us to get together to be healthier, to be well. So I do want to hear back from you. 414-444-5250. When we come back, 2 clinicians from outreach are going to talk to us about ways to cope, ways to make sure we're keeping our mind on the right path, and what we can do if we find ourselves just maybe a little bit off the path. You're listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show, this is a movement. I'm Ebony SsALI. We'll be right back. Your heart. Nope, nope. Gotta go back. Bringing our community together. That's what we're dedicated to. Through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. That we will do. We have been in here cutting up today, laughing, joking, learning what it takes to keep our minds in the best place. So in the studio with me, I have two amazing professionals from Outreach. Let me just tell you a little bit about them before we jump in. We have our Director of Behavioral Health Services, Annie Carroll. She is an alumna of Florida State University and Alverno College, holding a bachelor's in social work, a master's of science in nursing, respectively. Again, we love credentials on this show. Since joining Outreach Community Health Centers in 2016, she has been a loyal proponent of accessible, high-quality behavioral health services in Milwaukee's FQHC settings. Her work spans the community support program, comprehensive community support services, behavioral health clinic, and primary care behavioral health programs. She's passionate about continuous learning and community improvement, and Annie is committed to working with others to create a climate resilient Milwaukee, where every resident is equipped with the necessary resources to enhance their physical and mental well-being. Welcome to the show, Annie.
Thank you.
And it's a double dose of amazing in here today. I also have Crystal Simpson, licensed professional counselor. Yes. LPC credentials, y'all. I'm telling you. Let me tell you about Crystal. She has been working in the field for over 20 years, earning her master's degree in counseling psychology in 2003. She's been working at Outreach Community Health Center since January 2020. When working with patients, her goal is to empower them to make change. She practices from a strength-based, trauma-informed approach and works to help patients envision and build upon their potential. Crystal strives to view presenting concerns from the patient's perspective and help them create change one small step at a time. Listen, these two ladies, Annie, Crystal, welcome to Community Heartbeat. They're amazing. Let me just start off with, can I get a little applause? Little round of applause, little bit. Welcome to the show. Ladies, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. We've been talking about all of the things to keep us well and healthy. But first, let me start and ask, what is mental health and why should we be focused on it? I know that's a loaded question. That's heavy. We're jumping right into it. But what is it? What is mental health?
Well, I think maybe we can tag team, but I think mental health means that we're basically focusing on what helps us with our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, and what helps us be well when we're thinking about things or feeling things, and what helps us really feel connected. It's kind of what I think of.
Crystal, what you think?
I agree with what Annie is saying, but I'll just add, I just think it's a part of our well-being. I think to making sure that our whole physical being, our mind, spiritually, emotionally, everything, that we're well, so that mental health is not just your mind, but I think it's your whole body.
It's all connected. It's like the physical with the mental. Let me ask, I know May is the month that we focus on it, but what are some of those maybe mantras, things you can repeat, positive energy? How do we put ourselves in a positive mental state? And I know it's very surface level, so we'll get a little deeper here in the next couple moments, but how do we just kind of repeat to ourselves positivity and create good self-talk? Are there any tools that you can give us out of your tool bag to help us just get through life? Any words of encouragement, thoughts around that? They're like, no, we're getting right into the meat. Is that too fluffy of a question?
No, it's a great question. I think it's something that shows up in my sessions all the time with people, trying to help them find those bright spots, trying to help them be able to notice that even though you're going through, what tools can you use to continue to push through? So I think really just any situation that you're in, looking for that positive through it, or it may look like this now, but have hope that it'll get better.
Yeah. And that hope is a key piece. So as people might be listening in, they've been on the fence. Do I call for a therapist? I know there's a stigma around therapy, which is why I always like to share on this show. Listen, get you a therapist. That's another person just to have on your team of wellness. But let me ask you both this from the practitioner side. How do you build trust when that patient shows up at your office? How do you create trust that this is a safe space for me to share and move into wellness?
I think for me, a lot of people have had bad experiences in healthcare and have had, felt like they weren't listened to, weren't trusted, weren't respected. And so I think having the basic level of just accepting that, like, whatever someone's coming in with, they're coming in with good intentions. And whatever they want or need, that's valid. And so kind of working from that perspective of, like, I'm here to work with you on your goals, not for my own agenda. So kind of really making sure that they're at the center of their care.
Yeah, I like that. Any thoughts, Crystal, with that one? Just in how do you build that trust?
Along with making it a safe space, really helping the patient too to also recognize you're the expert in your life. I don't have all of the answers, and to empower them to come up with their own goals, to come up with their own plans, and help them, make sure that they're attainable, and then celebrate those successes with them. And also that whole concept of meeting them where they're at.
I love that. Just meeting people where they're at. We talked earlier, Debo and I, we were chatting about just kind of recognizing some folks in our family, us included, may need mental support, and we can see that. So let me ask you both, are there some signs, some behaviors that we as family members can say, you know what, I need to be recommending maybe some care, some treatment for this person in my life, or maybe for myself? Are there any signs that people should be looking for that, you know what, counseling would be helpful, or treatment, medication may be needed? Any signs that you all would look for, or that we should look for?
I would say change in behavior.
Okay.
If you have a relationship with someone, you typically know this is not normal for this person. So once you start to notice those signs, and if you're talking, and you realize that something isn't the same, this is not typical for my loved one, then that might be an open door to begin to have those conversations.
Okay. So changes kind of in that normal.
Okay. Yeah. And I think a big thing too in our society, is someone increasingly using substances in a way that's becoming problematic for them, or you just kind of notice that they've increased drinking or other substances. And kind of, it's all changes, but, that they maybe are not responding in the same way, not engaged or connected to you in that same way.
I like, so being kind of in tune. So if the nightly glass of wine turns into the bottle, turns into 2 bottles, that might be a behavior that you say, you know what, they might be transitioning in mental health, and recommend that. We also chatted just really briefly about there's a rise kind of socially of people saying, oh, I have OCD because I like things organized, or, oh, I have, and they're kind of self-diagnosing, which we don't want to do, right? Like we can't make that determination.
Yeah,
right?
Because it's a label, right? Like it's a label. But to quickly go back to the thing you were saying about wine and, and the change with that, I think too, it's sometimes when we're concerned about people we love, we may come in like and express the concern in like a critical way or like a shaming way. And I think a lot of the time people already feel a lot of shame about their substance use and already feel a lot of guilt. And so really trying to come from a non-judgmental, concerned place, I think it's really important, because that allows people to see that you care about them. You're not judging them because of that change. It's just that you're here to help them. And even if they're having difficulty along the way with changing that behavior.
I see. This is why you get the professionals in here, because they frame it in the way that makes sense. So not being critical, not being judgmental, but welcoming that it's from a place of care. Yeah, I think it's important. So then, is we're looking for those signs, as we're labeling things. I guess that's where I want to kind of go next, is how do we make sure that we're connecting to professionals when we see this behavior in others, in ourselves, versus putting a label on it and kind of dismissing it? How do we do that?
Well, I think the label is kind of, it's conversational, and like you said, it's everybody's getting like self-diagnosing from TikTok or from Instagram, and I think in general we shouldn't be getting our information from social media. We should be getting it from trusted sources. I'd say, social media is the last place you should look for education or medical advice. Or medical advice. So, talking to a professional who's trained in that, in behavioral health, who has a lot of experience with diagnosis and discussing like what the diagnosis means, because it really is just a label to kind of describe the spectrum of symptoms you're having. It's not. It's a helpful tool to understand what you're going through, but the label is only one part of that in my mind.
So as people are moving through their mental health journey, sometimes substance use can be a way of masking pain or feelings, emotion. And I know you two specialize in like that substance use. Just walk us through maybe some of the programming outreach has, and how your specialty speaks to some of those things.
Okay. So we have a specialty program called contingency management. So it's a program that's really the only evidence-based treatment for people who are struggling with stimulant use. And in our area, that tends to be people who are using cocaine, but it also can be methamphetamine or like prescription amphetamines like Adderall. And so it's a program that's outpatient. You meet with a therapist and have a group. And part of the deal is that we're trying to really positively incentivize good behavior change. So abstaining or avoiding the use of the stimulant that you're trying to avoid, and trying to encourage exercise, social engagement, positive coping skills. So part of that is that when you meet with a therapist and you have a negative drug screen, we do have a financial incentive where you have a reloadable gift card where we add some funds on it and really help, then you can spend it on something good for yourself and something that's, going to help nourish you. So that's our big program right now. And in Milwaukee, the county of Milwaukee, the majority of overdose deaths in the last few years have been related to cocaine use. So it's usually cocaine with fentanyl. It's tampered with fentanyl essentially. And so that's why it felt really important to us to have a program that specifically targeted cocaine in reducing the use to help save lives essentially. So that's the big thing. And then we also have a harm reduction program. So
talk to me about harm reduction, Annie. Talk to me about that.
So not everybody's ready to enter treatment, right? Like some people may know that, they're not ready to stop using substances, but they want to survive. They want to feel safer. They want to protect their health as best as they can. So really engaging people with around what their goals are. So we have a harm reduction vending machine on site, which has Narcan and fentanyl test strips. So people can kind of make sure their drugs are safer than they would be without testing, and having those life-saving resources like Narcan on hand. And then we also have things like drug lock bags, so you can keep your medication safe at home, drug deactivation bags that if you have extra prescriptions at home, you just pour it in there, add water, and it destroys the medications. Gun locks, which is a great harm reduction resource as well. And then we recently started a syringe and safer smoking program. So people who are either injecting drugs or smoking drugs, they can come and they can get resources to kind of help reduce the effects of infectious disease and make sure that they don't catch hepatitis or HIV when they're using, and can engage around care and make sure that their health is protected.
And all of that for me, and part of this show is to make sure that we remove the stigma. So since the beginning of time, I've shared on this show, people have used drugs. Right? That is documented historical fact across the globe. What our goal is to make sure that those who do want a path forward can get off of drugs. But if you are going to use, make it safer. So I love that the syringe program means that you're not passing back and forth these diseases that we know are plentiful, that you don't know what you're getting in drugs nowadays. If we can be really honest, I gave the analogy that I love my wine. That is my wine and cheese are my things. If I had to go into a store and buy a bottle of wine and I had no idea what was in it, and it one little drop could kill me, that would change the way that I consumed wine. So for those who just use something different, they use cocaine, they don't know what they're getting. And so having those test strips, we're trying to remove the stigma from that and saying, when you're ready, we're here. But until you're ready, we're here. And those resources are available. So you can stop in the outreach. The vending machine is there, all free, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing, there's
No
no
questions
paperwork
asked.
to sign. You walk in, you take what you need. The vending machine with the gun locks is also huge. If you are going to be using firearms, you're going to have them in your homes. Protect your family. You wouldn't leave a pulled pin grenade on your living room floor. Don't do the same with your firearms. So get that protection. Tell me if there are misconceptions people have about therapy and misconceptions about mental health. Are there maybe one or two things that you know are absolutely wrong, but people still kind of share them? I'll use, just from the outside looking in, depression as a way to kind of kick us off. Everyone experiences sad days, but there's a difference between being sad and depression, right? Are there maybe some things that we can use to help us decide what's sad and what's depression?
I think I'll just go back to anything that's affecting your day to day. You know, if you were a person who gets up like clockwork, 6 o'clock every morning, you have your time and you go to work, but then something has changed with that. You no longer care about the way your appearance. You no longer care about, going to work. Those things are no longer important to you. It's a struggle for you to get out of bed, even with encouragement or even the motivators to, get a paycheck, then that's when it may cross the line of depression. And there are time frames, but I think that's the importance of getting it assessed and evaluated by a professional, because I think so many times people say, oh, I know somebody like that, or you'll get over it. But really, as you had mentioned earlier, you wouldn't just rely on a peer to diagnose, something,
a broken
physical,
arm,
right? You wouldn't rely on that. So it's the same concept, seek professional help. But I think, again, a lot of people come in thinking I'm going to be judged.
Right. No judgment zone. Judgment zone. 414-727-6320 is the number. Call, schedule, make an appointment with our medical behavioral health team. And they work in collaboration with other departments too. So they will get you what you need to be healthy and to be well. We have a caller. So greetings and good morning to you.
Thank you. And good morning.
Good morning.
And a great Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially all the ladies in the studio, Ebony and the ladies in the studio. Good morning, Right Out. Good morning, Milwaukee.
Good morning, Tyrone W.
Yes, Tyrone W. speaking. But very quickly, because I know you're just about up against the clock here. You're speaking about the all the wonderful things, and that's good there. But you speak about the addictions and all there. But I'm pretty sure. What would you say to the higher corporations like HR departments and like you hear he went postal or she went postal, because they done shut up the post office. Or you take Molson Coors, Mr. Farrell. So when they went to HR, they didn't help them. So what would you say to big corporation now when people come to you with something and you need to listen to them? I'll hang up and take your answer over the air there. But what would you say to big corporation and HR departments, human resources, to where they need to clean out their ears and listen more to the people that's bringing these situations?
Now Tyrone W., that's a loaded question. That is a loaded question. So maybe I frame it this way.
Okay.
How do we maybe make more space in the workplace for positive mental health? And I would say create resources for those who might be struggling more than others. Right.
I think too, though, to his point, I think we do have a society that are like, we don't always view big corporations may not view
I'm like, look,
see the humanity of their employees and see the
Mhm.
importance of that like actual human connection. We're sometimes we're just kind of like cogs in a machine. So I do think, like stepping away and really trying to view a workplace as a community as opposed to a place that is kind of, just paying you to do a job, I think is really important. So it's things we've done, definitely are trying to build spaces and times where people can actually connect with each other and build relationships. And I think having those resources like EAP is super important. So having employers pay and prioritize access to mental health services, I think is really, really vital myself.
And I think too, along with like having resources like EAP, I think, just those larger corporations spending some of those dollars to bring in professionals to be able to educate those higher ups on the importance of mental health and recognizing it in your staff and encouraging self-care and those type of things. I think it has to start from the top.
Indeed. Yeah. I love it. I would love to see, I know most companies have a sick day. I would love to see more wellness days. Like sometimes I'm not physically sick, but I just need a moment, right? I need a bubble bath and a good meal, right? It's to help bring myself back. So great questions. Before we get out of here, let me ask, what is maybe the biggest life lesson you've learned about mental health and mental wellness, just kind of either personally or professionally, that you maybe could share with the audience? Remember, you can schedule your appointment 414-727-6320. But as professionals, maybe what's the biggest lesson you've learned personally? And while you're thinking of that, I'll share my mother is very calm and relaxing and like, just ease up, things will work out. My dad is like, no surrender, no retreat, go after everything you want. So it's this balance of going after your goals and what you need, but also making time to just be and just sit and rest, has been my biggest aha moment, to just take every day slowly.
Yeah.
I'll just say for me, just recognizing that I don't have to do everything. It's
Ooh,
okay to
that's
say
it.
no.
Ooh.
And I think, again, like as mothers, a lot of times we feel like we have to have the answers. We have to do everything, but it's okay to recognize our own mental health challenges, and it's okay to seek help. Mental health professionals also need mental health professionals.
That part. Yes.
I think it's okay to be vulnerable, and I think it's okay to speak out and say that you too also need support.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think something that's kind of it's kind of the flip, another part of it, but like I think sometimes there's this quote that's that action is the antidote to despair. So I think sometimes when the world feels despairing or the world feels difficult, trying to take action around issues that we feel like we can impact. So like right now,
yes,
there are
times.
pretty significant Medicaid cuts that are written into the current federal budget proposals. And so right now we're really advocating against those Medicaid cuts. Right now, they're kind of anticipating that about 3 million Americans would lose insurance with a lot of the proposals over the next like 9 years. So I think people taking time to reach out to their senators and representatives. So Senator Johnson, Senator Baldwin, whoever your representative may be, and just giving them a call and letting them know how important Medicaid is to our communities and how important it may be to your family or to people you love, I think is just like a critical step, because I think often we're kind of disempowered in terms of engaging with government and engaging around civic action, but taking steps to advocate for our community can really help us feel buoyed and connected to each other.
I love that. I'm making a note for myself to add those numbers for that advocacy on the website. You are working on an advocacy program right now, right, Annie, where people can get connected to their legislators to let them know just how important Medicaid is in the care. And listen, I'd say that we're all connected in Milwaukee, whether we want to be or think we're not connected somehow, some way, but the health of all of us is we're together. So if your neighbor does not have health coverage, is on Medicaid, and that is cut, that will directly affect you. So even if you have the world's best benefits, make the call for your neighbor. Make the call for your coworker. Make the call for someone that's in your community that needs it. That is what I'm asking everybody to step up and do. So in the studio, I always want to call you Dr. Annie, because she just has that way. But she is a nurse. Okay, let's be clear. Credentials are important. The director of behavioral health, and Crystal Simpson, our licensed professional counselor. Great people that provide a great service. You can connect at 414-727-6320. You can find out more about outreach and our upcoming events all month on our website, ochc-milw.org. And then next show, so in 2 weeks, we will continue this topic on mental health awareness. It is important. We wouldn't leave a broken leg to not heal properly. Let's not leave our minds, that some may be operating well, some may be a little broken and operating less than ideal, less than optimal. Time to be well. You are listening to Community Heartbeat. Thank you, ladies, for joining today. Greatly appreciate you. Ride Out, Debo, appreciate you both. Thank y'all for keeping our community well. You're listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. See you in 2 weeks. I'm Ebony SsALI. Thanks for listening.